So Bleacher Report just released their top 100 NBA players of all time, and it is hot garbage. The article states that the criteria for this list includes factors like stats, awards, championships, and overall cultural impact. But that clearly wasn't the case. Look, obviously everyone's going to have a different opinion, but there are some things on this list that just don't make sense whatsoever. For starters, how are you going to have Kobe Bryant outside of your top 10? Listen, as a diehard Kobe fan, I'll admit I do have some biases when it comes to him. But anyone that objectively knows the game and isn't a blatant hater recognizes he's one of the 10 best players to ever touch a basketball. And I'm not advocating for him to be above Michael Jordan or LeBron James, but to put him outside of the top 10, are you serious? The man is 4th on the all-time scoring list, a 5-time champion, has the second most points ever in an NBA game, has a season where he averaged over 35 points per game, and is an 18-time All-Star. Not to mention, he is the only player on this list to win not one, but 2 championships without another top 75 player on his roster. And I don't want to hear anyone trying to justify his ranking by saying, well, he won 3 of these with Shaq. Okay, if that's the case, why don't we use the same sentiment for players like Steph, Magic, Kareem, Shaq, and LeBron? Players that were all ranked above Bryant on this list. Steph won half of his rings besides KD, Magic and Kareem won 5 of their chips together, and then there's LeBron, who is unanimously a top 3 talent ever by the NBA community, played alongside Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and now Luka Doncic. All of which are names on this list. Somebody please tell me how this makes sense. Why is it that we push these aspects to the side for other legends, but punish Kobe for playing alongside Shaq? And as I mentioned earlier, one of the criteria for this list was cultural impact. And there are maybe 2 players at the very most that have had a bigger impact on basketball than Kobe Bryant. If you have ever gone to a park to hoop or seen someone throw something away in the trash, what do they yell? Oh, that's right, Kobe. And there's one name above him specifically that I can't help but feel is being used for clickbait. As much as I love Stephen Curry, there's no way that he ranks above Kobe at any sort of all-time list. Kobe is the superior scorer, clutch time playmaker, and is elite on both sides of the ball. He is by far the better defender, as shown by his 9-time all-defensive first teams compared to Steph's 0. Finally, he still has more championships, finals appearances, and finals MVPs than Curry, and he did it all with less help. Maybe if Steph adds another ring to his legacy, I can see the argument being made for him being greater. But as it stands right now, there's just no way. And we're really going to throw Shaq up at 6, even though Kobe Bryant won 2 rings without him and Shaq was only able to win 1. For some reason, there's been a load of disrespect surrounding this man's name recently, and I could easily make an entire video dedicated to this topic. But speaking of players not getting the credit they deserve, how about a name that didn't even make this list, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? This man literally just became the 4th player in history to win the MVP, Finals MVP, and scoring title in the same year. The other 3 that did it are all in this list top 6, in Shaq, Kareem, and Michael. Yet, you're meaning to tell me that Shai isn't top 100 while players like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Dave Bing all are? If his current player rivals that have accomplished less than Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic can qualify, then there's absolutely no reason Shai shouldn't. And how about another Thunder legend in Russell Westbrook? Now, I'm actually fine with his placement at 48, but it's how far ahead some other names are that don't add up. Both Chris Paul and Jason Kidd landed within this list top 30, and personally, I think Russ is higher all time. Now, if you want to say that CP3 and Kidd are superior, go right ahead. There's easily an argument to be made for both parties. But to say that both of these 2 lay nearly 20 spots ahead of Westbrook, when neither of them have an MVP or historic triple-double season like him, okay, now you've officially lost me. Another aspect of these rankings that I don't understand surrounds the placement of Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. If you value Bill's 11 rings highly enough to put him at number 5, then you should value Wilt's insane stats and records he put up to keep him in the same area. The same thing applies to Magic and Bird. The debate between these 2 will go on forever, but regardless of where you rank them, they have to be within a spot or 2 of one another. Seeing Magic at 4 and Bird at 8 is just too large of a gap. And how about the superstar that prevented us from seeing these 2 in the finals earlier? Dr. J should not be at number 20. This ranking is way too low for an individual who paved the way for modern wing play and bridged the ABA-NBA. In terms of talent, he was right up there with Magic and Bird in the 80s and was arguably the best player throughout the 70s not named Kareem. This next take I have might give me some heat, but I'm going to say it regardless. Giannis is the 2nd greatest power forward to ever live and should be above both Dirk and KG. Easily. When it comes to Dirk, Giannis has him beat in every major statistical category and is by far the superior 2-way player. He has more MVPs than him and even has a Defensive Player of the Year to his name, an award that Dirk never won. And at the very least, there was roughly a 2 to 3 year stretch where Giannis was widely regarded as the best player in the world. I can't say the same has ever been said about Dirk. And how about the big ticket? Now, I do feel KG is often underrated by the media, but I can't see him being above Giannis. The eye test suggests Giannis is the superior player, and his stats back this up too. Not only is the Greek Freak a better scorer and playmaker, but he does it all at higher levels of efficiency. On the defensive side, he's right there, and just like KG, also has the Defensive Player of the Year. And how about MVPs? Just like with Dirk, Giannis has him beat there too. And if we're talking titles, Giannis was able to bring Milwaukee their first championship in 50 years. He even dropped 50 points in Game 6 and took home Finals MVP, an award and performance that Garnett doesn't have in his catalog. Sure, KG still has a ring at the end of the day, but he didn't do it as the main guy. He did it playing alongside the likes of Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, and Ray Allen, creating arguably the first super team of the modern era. Finally, how is Scottie Pippen over Kawhi Leonard? Listen, Pippen is incredible, but Kawhi won both of his 2 championships as the best player on his team. I'm easily taking Kawhi as the better offensive player, and defensively, I don't think they're that far off, especially when you consider the fact that Kawhi has 2 Defensive Player of the Years compared to Pippen's 0. So those are just some of my thoughts regarding this awful list put together by Bleacher Report. But I'm sure I said some things today that you completely disagree with and had you shaking your head. And if that's the case, let's discuss it in the comments below. Maybe I'll even make a video responding to your takes. Let me know what you agree and disagree with, and make sure to hit subscribe to stay up to date on the latest in hoops. Also, don't forget to like and share with your friends. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.